Peace, YouTube. This is FleurBrun coming to you today with a new topic of discussion. Check on him. I hope you can see me. I don't know. Welcome to the live chat. Guard of your privacy abide by academy standards. I think you're there. Can you let me know if you guys can see me in the chat? There you go. Perfect. Hold on. Hello, hello. Hello. I know you never see me with a coat, right? Hello, hello. Peace. Peace, everyone. Hey, Trinidad and Tobago. Jersey's in the house. What's good? I know. FleurBrun with a coat. You never see me with clothes on. I told you I just change up every time. Check on him. Hello from Alaska. Well, you can understand Alaska's cold, though. I'm not in Alaska. Really cold. Okay. Check on in, everybody. I'm not going to keep you guys too long. I have like an emergency. Hey, Iran. Iran's in the house. What's good? Now, what's the temperature in Iran? Is it warm? Do you guys, I know Iran has like, it's like desert-like, but does it get tropical too? Because I had some friends from Iran in college, and then when I traveled, and they always had like the most beautiful colored clothes, like almost like Iran was like somewhat tropical. Is it like really beautiful there? I always wondered. Yeah, United Fix demonizes Iran, but let me just tell you, I haven't any issues with y'all. Whatever this country, and I'm going to discuss that, whatever the United Fix talks about with Iran and other countries, I don't have any beef with y'all. Hey, Yafi. Shalom. Shalom. If it was on Saturday, we'd say shalom. What would I used to say on Saturday? Shalom. I used to say something on Saturday, like when you go shalom. Oh gosh, I forgot. The shalom to Yafi. Yafi's in Israel. Israel is in the house. Shabbat shalom. That's what I used to say. Shabbat shalom. Sorry. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Aliens are popping. My lip gloss be popping. My lip gloss be cool. Okay, so join on in. I have some things to discuss, okay? This is a free space. We are an international, St. Louis is in the house. We're a free international group in here. We don't really have any beef because our governments are all against us. So I don't have any beef with any of y'all because you aren't the government. My other girlfriend was like abroad. She was like, you know, people have issues with the United States. This is my preview when I meet people. Because remember, I'm first generation American, but when I meet people from other countries, I said, listen, whatever our government is doing, we don't even get to vote. They think we're voting. They take the votes. There's no such thing as voting. There isn't a democratic process here. So if you have beef with the United States, take it up with the pooping holographic president of the United States. If you got issues with them, because we have nothing to do with them. That's all I'm saying. You know, when they come for everybody, I was like, that has nothing to do with us. They took our taxes and give everybody free medical. They are funding every single country except ours. Okay, so please, if you have issues with the United States, I have zero to do with it. That's why when I talk to you, if whatever country you're from, I'm good with you. If me and you are cool, we cool, because I know your government is coming against you too. Okay. Oh, you see the wolves? I got a wolf pack in here, y'all. You know, but you guys know Babette. Babette's gonna come up here. You're gonna come up here? You know Babette, right? Remember Babette? Say hi, Babette. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. You wanna say hi to everybody? Or you just wanna, you wanna photobomb? You wanna bomb do you wanna bomb everything? Because I'm talking? Yeah? Okay. Hello, hello. I would invite you to Frosty, but Frosty's the animals are. Babette, listen, Babette. Can you give me some space, please? Thank you. Okay. You know, I have dogs all over the place. I got fur everywhere. I'm like a wolf pack. I think I'm turning into like a wolf, like a wolfitarian. Okay, can I make a video, y'all? Hold on, y'all. Let me take out, because listen, the wolves were barking. So check on in. I'll give it until 500 and we'll check on in. This video is gonna, I don't really care because I don't really have any allegiance to YouTube either. Let me give a shout out to YouTube that blocks all my videos and sends all the worst algorithm to me. And I don't drink Starbucks anymore. I don't drink. I made this, y'all. I just used a cup. I like the Dutch Stens cup. It's really cute. And I made this. It's decaf. It's really good. It's organic. I added like cinnamon to it. So I'm not jonesing today like on crack like I do on Starbucks. I decided to leave Starbucks and a lot of these companies alone. Okay? So I'm going to give you some information that's important. Whether you want to take it or not, that's up to you. Okay? So check on in. I know I'm dressed. You guys are not used to me having clothing, right? Isn't it nice that I'm nice and cozy today? Dutch is better than Starbucks is crack, y'all. I told you I have a problem. I have a problem, y'all. I told you I had an issue. I'm over it though, because Starbucks is up to no good. So I'll get rid of even if I have an addiction to something, I'll get rid of it if it isn't righteous. If Starbucks isn't doing righteous things, I'll mess with it. But anyway, check on in. I'll wait until we get to 500. I'm gonna give some information. It's gonna be really disturbing, but like I said, you could take it and leave it or take the advice that I give you. Aw, Fab said I look cute in any clothing. Thank you. Thank you. My brother used to call me, he said I look like a rabbit. When I was little, my brother used to be like, because he's much older than me. My brother's like 8 years older. I have an older brother and a younger brother. I have an older brother who's really older and a younger brother who's really younger. But my older brother used to say, silly rabbit, tricks are for kids, because I look like a bunny rabbit. So he said I look like a rabbit, like a rodent. Carla said Starbucks ruins her skin and feet. It just ruins my whole, listen, I've been drinking it for years. I do a lot of things okay. It was one of those things, right? At least I made it. I made this. This is not, I like the cup though. I like the Dutch Sense cup. The Dutch cup, it's really good. And this is I ground my own beans that are mold free. Insectoid free. Listen, y'all, I said insectoid free, and organic. So I take I ground out my own, and I put them in my French press. Put it with a little bit of cinnamon and vanilla. My own, reverse osmosis water. Okay. You were right. Plant says she's on the same thing as me. She said I'm not alone. She switched to Tim Hortons. What's Tim Hortons? Is that a good one too? Don't get us coffee drinkers on here. I'm on decaf, y'all, so I will be calm, okay? What up, April? You feeling better? All right, y'all ready? The neighborhood is barking at this guy. The dog bypassed me and it continued. Listen, they already came and did like a garbage patrol on me already. That's how I know I hit a chord. Whenever I hit a chord, they come for me. So it is what it is, right? I'm in and out of the fakes. So big up to every country, every nationality, every complexion, every tongue. You are always welcome here as long as you're respectful and you aren't trying to hurt nobody, anybody. All right, so we're almost at 500. I'm going to start off. We'll wait. I hope everybody's well. I hope everybody's warm. France is in the house. Bonjour, bonjour. Comment ça va? How's your weather over there? Are you in the south of France? Are you in the north of France? Central? Are you over near Cannes? Are you on the other side? Near, let's see, over in Marseille? Where are you? Frenchie? Every city, every block too. Wet now in Texas. Shannon, I don't, I'm a Sag. I could read that any which way. You know, when you say things like that in my Creole mind, you know how we get. So I'm a pretend I guess you meant it's raining. Shannon, that's like gonna trigger me. I'm gonna behave because this is a family show today, okay? And we are here with families, okay? Are you trying to, Joe? All right, I won't get gaslit, but this, y'all, I'm gonna pay attention. Oh, we're at 500, let's get it in. So anyway, y'all, I'm gonna talk about the multitude of things that are happening. I think I'm gonna start off with the lighter information and then go to the heavier one. I'm gonna talk about the side effect of and this is on record. So that I'm not sharing anything that isn't on the actual information that people get if they decided to get the Kukarachi shot. It is on their actual pamphlet. Most people don't read it because anybody who would take anything from the Willy Wonka, most likely you just lift your shirt up, pull your shirt up and just let them poke you with anything. I don't think you even read about the Tuskegee experiment. I don't even think you even listened or read anything about the Puerto Ricans that they basically sterilized by giving them supposed birth control that sterilized, hundreds of Puerto Rican women. But you just think that your government loves you. So I think that, under the mind control programming, you are a perfect candidate to hear this information, okay? Because if you trusted that anything that they want to give you for free, and they are trying to promote it with hamburger helpers and donuts and concert tickets with Satanists, how can I convince you any differently? Okay? So anyway, so one of the side effects of the Pfizer, and this is in their pamphlet, was having deja vu, y'all. Deja vu. So you have to think to yourself, how could you place that as a side effect? Like, what in any sort of so-called inoculation would you then have a side effect of deja vu? Now, for some of you who don't know what deja vu is, deja vu basically is the feeling as if you stepped into a situation that you've done before. It almost seems like it's like you having a remembrance of it, or like you've done it before, or you recognize being in that situation before. It's kind of like that feeling. Okay, so when someone experiences deja vu, I'm going to give you what I know this to be. Okay. First of all, deja vu is when you're in the loop. And when you're in the loop, it means that you're going in a cylindrical pattern. You've done it before because we're in a simulation. This is a hologram. We're on a holodeck. And when you're in a simulation, like, I'll give this like Groundhog Day. Thank you, Cricky. Like, let's say you're in a video game, you're playing. My video game players can kind of attest to this. And you're playing, and you're like, yo, I'm gonna get past this stage. I'm gonna make it to this point so that I can get to the next level of this video game. And what happens a lot of times, let's say you didn't make it, you got blown up, you fell off a cliff, one of the prostitutes took you out with a bag of crack, maybe the pimp punched you on your head, knocked you out, and then you didn't make it to the next level. So you have to redo the level again, okay? I liken it to that, okay? So it's kind of like you're looping. And it's interesting that Pfizer has been linked to having a side effect of deja vu. And I've talked about the fact that there are people who are in here who are forever loopers, lifetime loopers, but also that something has basically tagged someone and tethered them to the matrix loop. So the fact of the matter is that most of you, and we can kind of do, because I can't really, let me explain this. This is on their pamphlet. It has nothing to do with me. I rebuke anything that has to do with governmental shots in your arm. I personally think that if you decide to engage with anything that your government gives you or persuades you to do, it's on you. Okay? And that is just my take on it. If you decide to do it, it's on you. But if you participate in their cyber then whatever you go into is, you know, it's going to bring you into a certain level or keep you bound or tethered to their existence or to their loop. So the fact of the matter is, I would have to take a census to find out if people who took the shot are experiencing deja vu, because I haven't experienced deja vu for years. And also it means that deja vu could be linked to could be linked to when you're in the loop, could be linked to being in a lower consciousness, in a lower realm of the matrix. Sorry, my dogs are like, they see everybody behind me. And that being said, what if the fact is that that particular Kukarachi kill shot was intended to not only keep you, lower your overall immune system and compromise you overall, but what if it was also meant to tether you to the loop, to the matrix, so that you aren't able to wake up outside of the firmament? Okay, we do know, big up to everybody who made it through the Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga, which is the end of the age. We are now in the age of Aquarius. In Aquarius, Aquarius. We're now in the age of Aquarius. And with being in the age of Aquarius, it allows for all aspects of truth to be not revealed, to be expressed. Revealed is like something's a secret, it has to be hidden, and then it accidentally or purposefully is disclosed. The age of Aquarius is like, yo, this is what's the real, this is what it is, this is how we do, and you just gotta accept it, okay? That's the age of Aquarius. Whereas in the other times, like the age of Pisces, it's the age of belief, be-lie. Okay, belief is a be-lie, right? It's having information given to you without being able to vet it or source it. Sometimes it could be fabricated, sometimes it could be real, but a lot of times what it is information isn't sourced, and it doesn't have to be able to be presented. Whereas in the age of Aquarius, everything that is what it is. Okay, so it's the truth. That's why you see the ladle being poured down by a woman. She's pouring down the ladle and she's clearing away all the old, all the dust, everything that was, you know, clearing the consciousness. Okay, so the fact of the matter is, I wanted to bring that up first before I bring up the second part of this disturbing video, is that the fact of the matter is I hate when I do that. The fact of the matter is the actual deja vu was most likely a side effect of being tethered to the loop again, so you aren't able to go to reset. So when reset comes, you basically be recycled. It's almost like when you participated in that particular entrapment. You know, if you participated in any sort of governmental institution of, you know, telling you there's something and there isn't, and it only comes about when they start interfacing with you biologically. Okay. FYI, Ebola's on the loose. Just FYI. If you heard that, you heard that. I'm not gonna go deep into it because, like you see, they're gonna keep sending like NPCs to make my dogs, like trigger my dogs. You see? Come on, Lola. Yeah, they're gonna keep sending like NPCs whenever I'm discussing something. Like the Matrix will send out NPC Smiths to disrupt the video. So, okay, so, should I go forward with that? I'm going to kind of leave it there. So I'm going to make you do your own research on that. I'm going to ask for anyone who engaged with the Kukarachi kill shot, if you took anything that the government offered to you for free, are you having deja vu? And for those who didn't engage with the governmental bioterrorism, are you experiencing deja vu? I can't tell you if it's true or not. It just makes sense to me that in order for one to be, you know, there's layers to this conscious awareness. And also if we're supposed to wake up, they would have ways that those who haven't accrued enough consciousness and awareness to be tethered and recycled back into the loop so that they go through this again, and maybe another time they'll have an opportunity to be able to exit the matrix. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. So you guys can kind of source it out I'm not sure. Again, it's interesting that that was listed as one of its side effects. How legitimate it is, and let me say this because, you know, YouTube will say I'm not a doctor, medical misinformation. I'm not a doctor. I'm a liar. I'm a sicko. I'm a psychopath. I'm a clown. I'm a comedian. This is a joke. This is a skit. Okay, YouTube, okay? So I'm nobody. I am absolutely nobody. I have no validation. I have no accreditation. So if YouTube, you decide that you want to come here and say medical information, I already told you that I'm not a doctor. I have no credentials. I'm an idiot. I'm a liar. I'm a comedian. So if you come in here trying to source and say I'm doing something else, you already got the FYI, okay? So, all right, so let's get into the other bit of information. I don't know if you guys are ready for it. And it's in every country. Let me just state this, y'all. When I come on here, I have zero. Let me state this, y'all. I have zero allegiance to any country. Let me put that out there again. What my country does, I have zero to do with. I'm not against it and I'm not for it. Okay? So please refrain from getting triggered or bringing your countries into it, because if you believe everything and you're down with everything your country does, you're one of them. Okay? Because a lot of your countries are doing some diabolical things and setting you up. And I want to say this too, because it's very sad what's happening in the European countries, especially in Ireland. You know, I have a lot of our Irish friends on here, a lot of our friends from France, and from Australia, and I want to speak on behalf of our Australian family. I think it's really diabolical that they have been banned and their words are being weaponized against them. That's why you don't hear botage, botage. That's why tudo bem, tudo bom. That's why you don't hear many of our Australian families speaking out anymore, because they've actually made laws that would give them time in jail and also fines for speaking up against their governments. I think it's really sad. So, you know, I want you to really understand that we are in the time of reset. The pole shift is around the corner. They've got all these false flags. You know, they're gaslighting everyone with fake news and political jargon that has absolutely nothing. Now, listen, y'all. What's so sad is that every country right now is headed by these non-humanoid AI insectoids. Okay? Insectoids. I know you think it's the reptilians. You always want to blame the reptilians. But look at Kim Kardashian and who she hangs out with. I told you she was an insectoid. You didn't believe me. Then she went on that show. For Halloween, she put her whole house like a spider and had bodies inside and webs. You thought I was joking. Every Halloween, she dresses up as a bug. Okay? Either she's a diehard FleurBrun fan and she listens to me, so she's basically, you know, just she's trolling. No. Don't you dare, Fuzzy. No, no, no. That's no. See, I tell you I'm on here. The pup. Huskies are, that's no. We don't do that. Come. You want to say hi to everybody? Come here. No, Bebe. Come here. Come. Come here. Come. Come, come. This is Frosty, everybody. Say hi, Frosty. Frost, say hi. This is Frosty. This is so beautiful. Come on, Frosty. This is Frosty, everybody. This is my little naughty, right? She does the most dastardly things in the house. But I love you. I do. I love you all. Okay. Yes, I love you. But you're naughty. That's okay. You're wolfy. I can't expect you to be. I won't domesticate you. I've got 4, y'all. They're all standing next to me, furring everything up. Okay, so let me straighten up. Yeah, and then her mom, Lola, has a blue eye and brown eye. So, okay, guys. Can I? Okay, excuse me. Hold on, y'all. Excuse me, go ahead. Let mommy do this. I have to finish up my video, and then we'll go outside and play, okay? All right, y'all. I'm all furred up. Okay, I'm part of the wolf pack, y'all. I'm part of the wolf pack. I got every kind of dog in here. Yeah, so I have an Alaskan. I have 2 Alaskan Huskies. They're new. I have Lola and I have Frost. They're beautiful. And then you have Babette and Fi. So I have a rough collie, right? And I've got a German Shepherd. And now I have two Alaskan Huskies. So I am hounded up in here, okay? That's why a lot of times you don't see me as much. And that's why sometimes I just have to cover up because I'm outside. You said dogs stink. Cooley, that's not very nice. My dogs smell better than most people, especially insectoids and other species, okay? Okay, don't disrespect my doggies because I'm gonna take it personally and I'm gonna have to block you, okay? Maybe you don't like animals, but most of you are eating animals, okay? So, you know, if dogs stink, keep that to yourself. When we're a dog-friendly, animal-friendly channel, those are things you might want to keep to yourself, okay? Because I might take that personally. All right, let's get back to Kim Kardashian coming out of the closet, the insectoid closet, okay? And the fact of the matter is, I told you she was an insectoid, okay? I don't know what Kanye, the fake clone Kanye or chemicalized Kanye is walking around with. She looks like an insectoid too. I think they're all insectoids because they have them under mind control. But that was, I talked about, I did a remote viewing of what happened to the real Kanye, and it was really sad. So, but that, whoever that being is that's walking around with, what can you see? That being that's walking around with the woman who's, and you talk about my breasts being out. It's amazing to me. The woman's walking around barefoot with her breasts, her nipples hidden. Well, I guess once your nipples are hidden, it's fine. But she looks like an insectoid too, doesn't she? I think she does. Anyway, so let me talk about what's happening in Australia. I went off the side of the topic because what I'm going to talk about is very disturbing, y'all. Okay? So do know that Australia is being highly suppressed. I'm really sad for them. You know, when cucarachas came out, they were on the forefront of all information. I think we had Crow House. Crow House is a channel that was up. I don't even think he makes videos on YouTube anymore. Do you guys know if Crow House, I think he's on Rumble. That's right, Fada. They're getting after you. You should have said nothing about the dogs. They're going to come for you. See, the canine family is no joke. You know, we got some people, wolf people. We got some dog people. We got some canine friend. We got people who are Anubis friendly. You should have never said nothing about the dogs. Anubis might be coming from you from the underworld. You know what I'm saying? You should have kept that to yourself. You're going to have them all coming to your channel howling. You know, you might have some interesting, it's a full moon too. They may be outside your house in your window. You should keep that to yourself, sir. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Max Egan, is Max Egan still on? But I think he's on Rumble. Is he on Rumble? Max Egan? Australians are receiving just percentages of what they did on the original people of the land. Oh, wow. Okay, just let me know. If anybody's from Australia in here, I don't want you to say anything, but just let me know. Max is on Rumble. Okay, thank you, Gemini. He's on Rumble, okay. But I know that they were getting threatened for a long time, and it's really quite disturbing. So I want to say this, whatever I'm going to share with everyone here is going to, I figured I'd make the video because I'm going to be busy today, and I figure I'll tell you rather than not. What happened in Europe, what's happening in Europe and France, every European country, I think always, like, and I got to be careful because remember, France had, Max Egan is controlled by opposition. Omniscopic just said that. I don't know. I don't listen to it as much, but I know who he is. So I don't know. Most people, if they're very popular and they're being pushed out into the algorithm, are all controlled by controlled opposition. If they ever say things like black hats, white hats, they're definitely under some form of mind control. All those terms are part of the algorithm of the PSYOPs. Black hats, white hats. You wouldn't use that term. You would have more self-awareness, and your cognitive awareness would understand that those are terms being used like new age, you know what I mean? So those are like the whole Q movement, that's all of them. Okay, so when people are using terms like that, I already give them the side eye because it means that they're utilizing terms that are connected to the PSYOP groups. Okay, I don't really get down with them because the fact of the matter, the fact that you're saying that black is negative still, you already are lost. Black and white. If you're still using dualistic terms and polarity as your just like Democrat and Republican, oh, the Democrats are doing this. I already know you're under mind control. That is all a sign of mind control. If you are basing your whole life and your conversation and you're weaponizing one side based on your side, that's all. You're still part of duality. You're still part of the polarities. So that already lets me know your limitation. Okay, you would know there's no such thing as Democrats and Republicans. They're all one. They're all one. They're all under one umbrella. Okay, do you see what's happening in the countries, y'all? Does it look like any Democrats or Republicans are working on your behalf? You could talk a good game. Remember, I'm from old school Mount Vernon. Big up to Mount Vernon, New York. If you talk about it, you're gonna be about it. Okay, so if you're letting the whole border open, which the federal government just basically told Texas that they're upset that they're putting barbed wire all around to protect their state. And I'm going to get into that because this is where the Russians come in. You putting barbed wire all over the state, and then all of a sudden the federal government saying, no, that's illegal. We can't have you protecting your borders. What's going on? So if that's so you do know the federal government has both a Democratic and Republican constituents involved in that decision making, right? So who really is the enemy, the Republicans or the Democrats? So I don't really mess with people. I listen to it because it's interesting, because I love to hear the algorithm of the mind control programming going on in the Matrix. It's always very fascinating. But I already know if someone is deeply embedded in the verbiage of duality, they're already under heavy mind control. Oh, the Negroes, they're criminals, they're robbing everything. You do know that brown people only make up, what, less than 12%? I think there's a lot more, personally, but less than 12% of the population. Even if half of them robbed Dollar Central or Dollar Tree, the majority of crime isn't done by them. So when the news only shows brown people robbing and pillaging and they don't show you the others doing it, that is a form of mind control, y'all. That's mind control. Because if you had common sense, you'd be like, there's not enough brown people in the country to be all the criminals. So how come we got all this crime? We got this much crime and we got this many brown people. And even if all the brown people were doing crimes, which isn't true, then they would only make up this much. So where are all the other criminals coming from? Okay, so stop it already. That's what I'm saying. Mind control is very, if you're easily manipulated by social media, then you are a perfect candidate for the MK Ultra programs that all of these eugenicists and governmental officials have set forth for just you and yours, okay? Mind control is part of why you have social media anyway. Television, radio, all social media, FB, Planet, Twitter, IG, those are all parts of the mind control programming, y'all. Your side effect is entertainment, but how come when you get on there, you can't get off? How come this algorithm keeps your mind entrained so that you can't stop? You keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. That is a form of weaponized mind control. Those mother freakers got you in mind control. Okay? So if you believe it, listen, I can put something all day. If you come to my channel, I'm going to put the things that I like and I want you to focus on. And if I want you to focus on something, I'm going to put a lot of it back to back to back. It's almost like when you're in New York radio. And I got to I'm going to diss New York because you got Hot 97. I don't know the radio stations anymore because I'm not there all the time. And when you always hear like the same songs over and over again. So you're telling me out of all of the records, all of the music, all you would hear is the same groups over and over. Like you would go on to the radio station in the Rising, you hear the same group of songs. You come on in the afternoon, it's the same group of songs. So you're telling me that that's all the music that's made? Or are they focusing on specific artists that are in alignment or whatever programming they want you to uphold to, okay? And then it's the same reason why everybody got tattoos when all of these celebrities were going out having tattoos. It's the same reason that all of the girls have snuffleupagus eyelashes, because it's being weaponized and manipulated and constantly put into the algorithm so that eventually you want to get snuffleupagus eyelashes too. Okay? Even though I'm going to talk about the fibers and Ebola, I didn't say that. That's too much for y'all. I'm sorry. Hey, Jamoji, I'm sorry. I'm going too far. I'm going too far. I want to get to the Russians, y'all. I got to stop it, okay? I was going to go into something, but big up to our C-Star who was on Zoom the other night. She made a great point. Thank you for making this point. But we'll talk about that later. I don't want to get into the Ebola and the eyelashes, okay? Because the eyes are being attacked and I don't want to talk about it. And, you know, if you were just doing things to protect your eyes, you wouldn't have to worry about things like that. But I'm going to go into the Russians, okay? So, remember the Bogle, y'all? Remember Bogle? Who knows how to do the Bogle? Remember that, y'all? I do look like a rabbit sometimes. You know, my brother was right. Anyway, so let's go into what's going on throughout the entire world, okay? Europe is decimated. And it's unfortunate that years ago when I warned you, you all called me you didn't call me a conspiracy theorist because that's a resurrected term. You called me a crazy person. You said that that would never happen in the United States, that our country wouldn't ever let our borders be open to foreigners unvetted from coming from hostile regions. You told me that. But I think I should get an apology. Don't you think? I think I need an apology from y'all saying that me predicting that what was happening in Europe, because my dad taught me that, like what you see for one will eventually come to you. My father said, you aren't to ever sit idle and watch something happen in somebody else's backyard, because if you allow it to happen to someone else in their backyard, it will eventually come to yours. Rest in peace to my daddy. I love that man. He gave me such beautiful values, him and my mother. I am so grateful, even though I didn't listen all the time. I did not. You know, I'm from Mount Vernon, money earned in Mount Vernon. I had to mess up sometimes, you know? But I wanted to talk about the fact that the Russians are here. The other day, and I talked about this in my Zoom group, I had witnessed, I was in the backyard walking my dogs, not walking because they're in the backyard. I was outside chilling with the dogs, and there were a bunch of planes that I'm looking at the mountain now. There were a bunch of planes like drones, you know, the drones that are for what do you call it? For chemtrails, the chemtrail planes. There were drones like coming overhead, like back to back, but they were low. Normally drones, you see them up and you see the smoke expanding from way above. You really don't see it really close to the ground. But my mountain, I'm on the side of a mountain. I live on the side of a mountain, and on the top of my mountain, in basically my backyard, there were these drones that were going back to back to back. So I saw, and I was like, that's kind of weird, but I'm looking at the dogs, and then all of a sudden, out of my peripheral, I see a ship, a triangular ship, go into the mist, and the only reason I can see it from my peripheral is because it rippled through the smoke. So the smoke in itself kind of rippled, the ship rippled into the smoke. So I totally wouldn't have even known or seen the ship had I not seen the ripple that actually exposed the shape of the ship and the size of the ship. So at the time I was thinking, oh my God, that's a ship. And it was invisible. It was invisible. And I was looking and I was like, yo, that's a ship. So I'm looking and I'm looking at the mountain as I'm looking at the ship. I'm looking at the mountain. I'm looking at the smoke. I don't see it. So it meant it was invisible. It was basically cloaking itself. So at the time I thought to myself, it's my people. It's the aliens. They're here. We gonna do this. We about to go bowdy. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go on the ship, help some of my people, pick them up. We're gonna go party in Brazil. We're gonna go and have our conference. You know, that's my mindset. But I couldn't really vet it. And I had all this phenomenon that happened from the age of Aquarius starting on the 15th, okay? And it's amazing to me that, I don't know that many of you mentioned that Martin Luther King's son died of cancer almost on his birthday. Was it on his birthday? It was around his birthday, or on the 15th or the 16th, am I correct? So I think was it the 15th? Can you guys tell me when his son died? Was it on the 15th or the 16th? I think it was on his dad's birthday, right? Was it? Can someone verify? Why does that matter? Because whenever there's an end of an age, there's like a sign that shows up with the death of something that was reminiscent of a certain ideology or a people. It was a week later? Was it a week later? Oh, it was the 22nd. Okay. Okay. It's kind of interesting that his son died right after when we kicked off the age of Aquarius. He died on the 22nd. Okay, the twos. Okay. Why do I think that's odd is because no one spoke about, really for the first time, and maybe it's because I live somewhere where I don't hear too much about Martin Luther King's birthday, but I didn't really see as much overt acknowledgement of Martin Luther King and what he represented and so on. And, I don't really, in one side of my mouth, because my mom said she didn't like hearing this the other week. So I kind of got chastised by my mom, who was a New York City teacher. And she's not right, she's not wrong, but I am right too. When you put someone on a pedestal, you disallow for them to be human. And also I noticed that anytime the government places a people that they don't like, that they've been victimizing and vilifying and genociding, and they put them in a position to be upheld high, it's because they've been assassinated. So it's like, that's why you'll go and see Malcolm X boulevards and Martin Luther King boulevards, and they're all in the hood where there's the most murders, okay? They don't do that with their own people. They would never put a general or worship a general that was assassinated and place that on and put him as a martyr. Because when you put a martyr who's assassinated, then what you do is you carry that energy for those people who idolize or have idolatry for that figure. Okay, so that's why I'm not saying, and I'm going to respect my mom's wishes because she didn't like that I said that he was a womanizer, even though he was a whore. Okay, and the fact that they put him on a high pedestal also let me know that they did it purposefully because they didn't want a good, healthy image of a man who was living righteous with his family. So my mom is right because she feels like that is demonizing him, but he did do some amazing things. Okay. But I've never been one to be a pacifist. If you spit in my face, I'm gonna punch you in your face. Okay. If you spit on me, listen, that's why I wasn't born then, y'all. I'm just saying that, I was raised by the sweetest people, but if you spit and threw rocks at my children, I'll come to your house and hunt you down. If you hurt my family, I'm promising you. I'm not that kind of person. And I think that kind of passivity and apathy is why brown people are still disrespected, why their culture is taken and swapped out and taken, and people are stealing up their whole culture but don't give any props to them, because that kind of apathy makes you disrespected. Like if I let you borrow all my clothes, come and do everything to me and spit on me, you're not gonna respect me. Okay, so that's just me. I didn't say I'm right. I'm just saying, if you spit on me and my children, I got you, and I got you, and I got your ancestors too. I'm gonna make sure if you disrespect me and yours, I got a target on you. That's just me. The people of that time, maybe they were scared, maybe that was something that was more righteous, maybe you want to be peaceful, but I'm a triple Sag and I don't come from peaceful people. I'm a Carib. We'll take off your head and your people's heads. That's not a threat, y'all. That's a promise. And that's not a terroristic threat. I'm just saying, leave me alone. Leave me and mine alone. That's all. I'm just saying, and that doesn't have to be a brown thing. My lunar girlfriends, they about that life too. My lunar girlfriends, if you spit on them or their children, they gonna come for you too. So that's just, that's what I'm saying. So, but they upheld Martin Luther King to a high pinnacle point, but he was a pacifist. And he allowed for people to walk through the street being massively disrespected because they didn't want what happened in Haiti to happen over in this mother freaker. Okay? But I'm digressing. Let me go back to my higher frequency. Let me go back to, because that's what I'm saying. I was born at the right time. Gratefully, my family's very respected, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that engaging in violence isn't a way of life for me at this point. Notice I said this point, okay? So I'm grateful, okay? Let's just leave that be. all right? But why do I bring that up? It's because what's happening right here with the United Fakes is that we have been split into different, and I've talked about this before. I did do the 2024 predictions. I won't give it out. I decided not to give out the 2024 predictions until 2024 starts, because 2024 doesn't start until the end of March, which like April 1st, okay? Now people say, oh, well, January 1st was New Year's. That's the Gregorian lie, and that's a ritualistic Satanist and Satanist calendar. If you believe that you start a new year in the dead of winter, then you deserve to whatever happens in this matrix, okay? Okay? New Year's isn't in the dead of winter, okay? January 1st isn't the New Year's, okay? That's a Satanist date of whatever rituals they do. The whole Gregorian calendar is a Satanist calendar. It's absolutely a calendar that's based on the ritualistic times of dates that they're doing stuff and weaponizing all kinds of frequencies to put against people who are living in their regions, okay? That's just, spring is when New Year starts. When you first can plant your seeds, that's the beginning of your new year, okay? And anybody should know that. Just put your thinking caps on and just think about it, okay? So that being said is that the United States has been split into sections. And what I will speak about is the ship that I saw was a Russian ship. Now, why do I know this? Is because afterwards, when I was excited, I thought it was my homies. I thought it was going to be something that was amazing. I was like, oh, the Anunnaki here, the Nigerians are here. That's why people are bouncing over borders, you know what I'm saying? The aliens are here. But when I found out that it was last night that I actually got confirmation. And it was the first time, because remember, since the end of the age and the beginning of Aquarius came in, all truth can be accessed through the Patusha sa, alo, Patusha sa. Patusha sa, alo. Sorry. I love that my huskies understand French now, y'all. Babette, sachet. Now you know Babette understands French. Isn't it so cute? Like the huskies, like they're actually Russian dogs, right? Aren't they Russians? Aloha, aloha. They're actually Russians. Okay. What was I saying? Okay, so the ship that I saw was Russian, and I got confirmation last night. That's why I wanted to make the video. Now, let me state this. I haven't any beef with the Russians. Actually, they have better morals than anybody and than our whole governmental system, United Fakes. They don't allow little children to transition before they can even make a decision whether they want to drive a bus, whether they can make a decision, whether they can, change their underwear and keep it clean on time. They don't make their children make really rash decisions to change their gender and go and mutilate themselves from babies, okay? They aren't promoting that kind of mental illness, nor are they promoting drug usage, which basically the United States said, listen, you could coke it up, you can mushroom it up, you could smoke as much weed as you want. They're not promoting that, okay? They know that if you promote drug use, whether people use it or not, promoting it is giving an open doorway to allowing people to be possessed by demons and incarnates, and also, aliens that are coming in like parasites, like fibers, and going into people's auric field. Okay, they understand that. And also their food isn't being weaponized against them. You ever see a Russian? Look at the Russian men and look at the men in our country that are eating soy food. The men are healthy, strong, like the African men. The African men are like that too. Very strong bodies, strong. The Russians have, you ever see their frame? Like, they do drink vodka though. They like vodka. Okay? So let me just say this. I haven't any beef with the Russians because they didn't colonize nothing I came from. So I don't got beef with you, Russia, because you didn't colonize my people. You didn't colonize the Caribs, because the Caribs, we were in the Caribbean, and we were over in Central and South America. You didn't come and do anything to us, so I don't have any beef with you. I don't have a beef with your ancestors either, because y'all didn't do it either. Okay? So that I'm just saying that. I'm putting that on the record, because what I'm going to tell you is that the Russians are here, and they have their ships. And what I found out from having open dialogue, which I don't even know, I think the age of Aquarius is just allowing that kind of frequency to come in. What I was made aware of is that the United Fakes has been separated into different sectors. And just like the Hunger Games, what'd I say? Frosty. That's not gonna happen. You're cute, but that's not gonna happen. Okay? The United Fakes has been separated into different segments. And what has happened is that it's been sold off to different countries. I will tell you now that this is why you're probably seeing Florida separating itself, and also the fact that Florida's governor stepped down. At first, when Florida's governor stepped down for running for the election, I thought that Trump, you know, the orange man, probably said, listen, you talk too much smack. I'm gonna make sure you, because you know, Trump is, let me give a, listen, Trump is a New Yorker, y'all. I think you think he's just an orange guy that lives in Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Do know he's a New Yorker. Do you understand that, right? I'm from New York. There's a certain kind of mindset with New Yorkers that you just recognize when you're from there. He's the type of person, like, when you talk smack about him, he didn't forget about it. You know what I'm saying? So I figured Trump kind of did something to him, was like, you know, just got underneath him and kind of just like said, you ain't gonna run because you talk too much smack about me. You need to go back to Florida. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. It isn't the case. What's happened now is that all of the United States has been separated and it's been bought off and sold into different countries. This is my opinion, y'all. Do know this is my opinion. So when they come in here and say, oh my God, you're saying that, this is my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion, okay? So basically, they've separated the different states. Texas is under Russia. Now, big up to our C-Star who expressed to me, big up to our family in Mexico. What up, Mexicanos? My Mexican C-Star, thank you, Denise, had shared with me this with me on Zoom, is that during the Mexican Independence Day, they had a parade, and I never got a chance to go. I know it's really, really nice, and hopefully I'll get a chance to go one of these years. And in this parade, there was a huge presence of Russians. So I started to think, I was like, that's why Mexico is not really cool with the United Fakes anymore. Like, they used to be real kiki with the States. Like, you know, if you traveled abroad, like, they were all about, you know, being down with the United Fakes. They aren't anymore because they have a new alliance, and it's with Russia. Just like when I went into Bahamas. Remember I told you all I went into Bahamas, I went to Paradise Island, and I came back through customs, and it was Russians who let me into the customs in the United States. I think I told you guys that before, right? And they have this term in Bahamas. Where's my Bahamian people? Like, something, they have a term that says the Russian something. I didn't know there was that many Russians in Bahamas. And I told you in Florida, there's a huge amount of Russians in Florida. I met their wives. And remember I told you this is a couple years, this go back for like 5-6 years. Remember I said I was in Florida, and it was in South, it was like I was on the coastline going on vacation, and I met some really cool Russian wives. They had the babies, and we were talking, like, we were just chatting it up. I was like, yo, what y'all doing over here? You know, they'll talk to me because they know that as a brown woman in the United States, I'm the least respected person. So they know I don't really have any stake, good or bad, and I shouldn't be aligned with the country that I'm living in, because obviously the United States is a hateful, disgusting, disparaging, genocidal country, just by the nature of how it formulated the states, okay? So they don't really, what I notice is when people talk to me, especially as a melanated woman, they generally don't have, unless they have been socially engineered to feel like I'm a thief, you know, like I rob places, I'm twerking on Tuesdays, I'm part of some fake corporation called BLM, unless they're part of that. And only people still believe in stuff like that are usually people from the United Fakes, because they're under mind control. So anytime I hear people saying that all brown people are part of BLM, and they're bringing that up even though it doesn't exist, and they murdered all the founders of BLM, because anybody who still says that, those are the people you know are in mind control, because BLM doesn't exist. They killed all the men who started it, and then these lesbian women took over that were basically set there by Soros, and they were basically agents of Antifa. So So whenever I hear people say, "Oh, brown people, they all part of BLM," that's over. They're all under mind control. Okay. So anyway, these beautiful Russian women were with their babies, and I talked to them. I was like, "Hey, so what are you doing here? Like, why are you guys chilling? Where's your hubbies?" Because all of them are pretty much married. So, "Oh, our husbands are here. They're on duty." They're on duty. Yeah, they're on duty. So we're just with the children. We're enjoying ourselves. We're just enjoying the beach. Now you gotta ask yourself, why would Russia be on duty? Wait, both countries are members of the United Nations. Russia is represented in the Bahamas through its consulate general. Oh, wait. Bahamas through its consulate general in New York City. Both countries have established diplomatic relations. Oh, thank you for the facts. Listen to, Reimagine Wisdom gave me some wisdom. Thank you. I didn't know that. Thank you for that. But anyway, the women in Florida said their husbands are on duty. And I thought to myself, how could your husbands be on duty if you're Russians? And remember, they told us in the United States, y'all, they told us that the Russians were the enemy. Remember they said when Trump was running that he was a Russian operative? Like, if Russia and China are your enemy, how come you letting a whole bunch of them in your country? I'm just saying, as Cap, you got to use common sense, logic. And us as women, we're always told that we're illogical, we're really emotional, which we usually are. But I'm just bringing it back, and I'm saying, how does that make sense that you're telling us that Russia is our enemy? That's what the United States will tell us. And that China's our enemy, but you let in like 15,000 Chinese in a week. And they got police stations all up in Cali and New York. So then you got to think, aha moment. I saw a ship that cloaked itself. It was invisible. And it was up in the mountains. And then all of a sudden you had all these different cities where most cities, even if you didn't live on the West or East Coast, everybody was raining at the same time. You got to think to yourself, we're a big enough country where if it's raining in LA, it shouldn't be raining in New York. If it's cloudy in Oklahoma, it shouldn't be cloudy and raining in Connecticut. Do you understand? So I'm just saying, like, what's going on with the purposeful weaponized, not even weaponized, the weather modification where you're terraforming all the skies to seed clouds at the same time? What are you hiding? What are you hiding? Basically, what I found out is that in several states, Russia has taken over Texas, and this is my opinion, it's not fact. You could probably vet this out quicker than I'm saying it. Russia has taken over Texas. That is why Texas is putting up its own National Guard, and it's being backed by Iowa. Am I right? Is it Iowa? Is it Iowa or Idaho? Somebody can vet it, because it's one of the I's. Idaho, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Florida, Nebraska, Dakota. I don't know if it's North or South Dakota. They are all sending aid, their own National Guard, to assist Texas. Now, I told you, I personally think, and this is my opinion, based on the things that I think I know, is that I personally think Texas already seceded. And now I know, in my mind, and my opinion, that Texas most likely and Russia are part of each other. And that they basically separated all of these different states in the United States. And China has taken over most likely California and New York. Now, you say to yourself, how could it be New York? And, because New York is big and I can't see. I think so based on how big the Chinese population is in New York and LA and California. And by the algorithm on all of your social media, sending out algorithm teaching you Chinese. Just look on your IG, and I think Facebook does it too. How come you have all of these different advertisements teaching you how to speak Chinese? And why, in fact, did they start to get you used? Remember with what's a cartoon? What's the cartoon with the guy who oh gosh, what is it? Despicable Me? Is it Despicable Me? Is it Despicable Me with Minions? Is that the name of it? Arkansas too. Thank you, Jeep. Is it Despicable Me? Okay. Anyway, I think it's Despicable Me. They've been socially engineering you to get used to seeing different types of people and speaking different languages that aren't notably in our natural, the immigrants that came to the country weren't as many Chinese before or Russians, so that wasn't something that was notably a part of our, when you call and you go to certain states, they'll speak Creole. Like if you're in Florida, you'll see they speak Creole, they speak Chinese, they speak what's another, Spanish, obviously, and Portuguese now. Portuguese is now, you see bom dia, tudo bem. They'll ask you stuff in Portuguese now because in Florida there's a lot of a lot of Brazilians. But all of a sudden you have an algorithm, you have a huge amount of Chinese and Russian now added to like the lexicon of speech, and also like certain things that Russians do. Also the change and the bringing out footwear, and this is big up to Daryl. Daryl brought up a good point, is that they started to advertise Uggs, right? And Uggs, and this is, I love Zoom, y'all, because we just be putting our minds together, and I can't possibly see from an angle that everyone can see from. And Uggs was created. Remember we saw Uggs came out, it was really ugly, ugly shoes, Uggs, remember? Uggs came out. And it was like really, like you thought to yourself, like we had Timberlands and other shoes like that, but why Uggs? You know what I mean? Like why would you have something so wide and so non-forming on the feet? But then I heard from Daryl's point of view, like with even the ugly, what are those shoes? Those sandals? They had the Uggs first, and then they had those sandals, the Crocs. See how wide the Crocs are? The Crocs are like the big feet, like big contorted, like big feet. It's so unattractive footwear, right? So now you have Crocs and Uggs being pushed out there, like really non-forming shoes for bigger feet, wider feet. Then you got to start to ask yourself, whenever there's trending or things that are trending, it's basically doing that to get you uniformly allow for another group that's being presented in your demographics to have a certain layer of comfort, and it doesn't make them so out of the norms of what we're used to, like taking them, you know what I mean, putting them, making certain clothing, making certain shoe wear that would allow this new demographics of people to be presented without any sort of resistance, or you wouldn't notice that shoes, because if they came here in the droves and they didn't have footwear, that would be noticing, that people would notice that. But if you make the footwear applicable to a new group of people that's being presented in the new, the new geographical locations, then you wouldn't notice it, normalizing it, right, Goddess? Thank you. Okay, so it's interesting to me that this was starting to present itself, and Birkenstocks, yeah, Birkensteins, right? Birkensteins, yeah, Birkensteins. Jinko jeans. What are Jinko jeans? What are Jinko jeans? I don't know that I know that. They wore Crocs in movie Idiocracy. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I'm just reading comments, y'all. They made it appropriate for wider feet people to come through. And you do know that there's certain groups of people, and you can, and my Russian family, let me know if I'm correct on this. We have some family from Russia. Aren't Russian the feet bigger? Asians don't have bigger feet. So it's not, that wasn't for the Asians coming in. That wasn't for the Chinese. Do Russians have bigger feet? From what I know, they do, wider feet. If I'm not mistaken, just let me know if that's true. Okay? I can't vet that out myself, but I just know that they started to make this normalize this type of footwear to accommodate a certain type of person. So I'm just saying, like, I don't know if the Russians have bigger feet, or to hide the 6 toes. Oh, green-eyed crow, good. That's right, that's the Anunnaki, yeah, well, Crocs and crocodile, go ahead, Kay. The big red boots from Dora the Explorer, yeah. Russians definitely are better, much bigger, taller, and girthier. They have more girth, like they have wider shoulders. That's just a generalization, y'all. It's just like when you say that brown people, most brown people have heavier bone density. That's just something that comes with a certain genetic quality of person. So most people don't know the reason why a brown woman and a lunar woman can stand side by side, and a brown woman and lunar woman can look like they're the same size, but a brown woman can look like the same size, but the lunar woman will weigh a lot less, is because brown people generally have heavier bone density, which makes them heavier. Okay, so those are like the genetic things that we all have, like weird things that we have. Okay, so let's go back to Russia. So they're not aliens, y'all, they're Russians, and the Russians are here and the Chinese are here. So personally, I think that what has happened is that Texas is under the Russian, is with Mexico and Russia is going to protect Texas. I think they have the backing of Russia. I think Russia is now there. And I think with Florida, whoever's lending help to Texas to protect its borders. That's why when all the migrants were coming in, Texas was sending all its migrants to all of the other cities, like to New York, Chicago. Where else were they sending them to? Where were they were going to Chicago, New York. That was the main places, right, that the migrants were going to, right? Are there any other places that the migrants are being seen in droves? I think New York and Chicago are the biggest. Anywhere else that you're seeing them? And also, you got to realize, y'all, Colorado. Oh, they're in Colorado too? New Jersey, that's the East Coast. I'm a brownie, I must have Russian in me because my feet love Uggs. Patricia said, brown women have bigger feet too, depending on where they're from. Just wider feet. It's not always. If they're part of certain tribes, like, not, if they're part of certain tribes, the brown women from the United States were, a lot of them, 90% of the women from the United States that are women of color were from the United States. They were natives. So it depends on where they're from. Some of them have very skinny feet. I know the Blackfoot have big feet. The Blackfoot women. I think also there's two tribes that have very narrow feet. I think it's the Cherokee may have narrow feet. And also, I would have to verify this with other friends. I know the Cherokee sometimes have very narrow feet. And also, I think, is it the Cree? Or is it Choctaw? It might be the Choctaw have narrow feet. So it depends. What's wrong with the wolf feet? Everything that walks by, they're just out there. Listen. Yeah, Blackfoot, I know they have wider feet. And I know it bothered, just for everyone who came into my, I was just sharing videos. I think it's the age of Aquarius. And I think, I always explain to people that I'm mostly Carib. And for my father's side, I have Taino. So most of us from the Caribbean, we know our historical connections to the islands and to the terrain we've been from. I think in the United States, it's very sad that a lot of brown Americans know their origins as Native and Indigenous, but people are resistant to hearing it who aren't the brown Americans because they've been educated to think that brown Americans came from Africa, and that's a lie. And it's a fact. Unfortunately, some of you are just learning that, and I will educate you. Because I was one of the first people who shared the fact that 90% of all so-called African Americans, the reason why they were gentrified in name and reclassified over and over again is because they were natives. And they did that purposefully, and they separated native tribes. So it's a fact. It's nothing I could even make up. These are things I taught my ancestors in the islands. We knew this already because our Carib people, we knew who our native people, her kin were in the States, in the different northern parts of the hemisphere. So unfortunately for those who are not from those backgrounds, because I know a lot of native groups that are coming, not many, because the elders wouldn't come for me, because the elders already know this. Any of the indigenous groups who still have elders that are over 90 years old, they wouldn't resist to this information because they all know it. It's the younger parts of the tribal groups that were instituted by the United States. You got to ask tribes, if your tribe has been classified as native and we're giving funded by the United States, is because a lot of those tribal people sold out the others. Okay, they're sellouts. And I hate to say it, but it is what it is. They sold out the others and they were infiltrated and they were gentrified and they were allowing $5 Indians to take over full control of these tribes. So please stop. You know, you don't want me to bring out all the information I know, because then it's going to devastate every tribe. Okay? It's very nasty when you have been told lies and then people tell you who they truly are and you still resist it. Okay? If you believe that the United States has lied to you education-wise, why would you believe that they would tell people other things? So these are things that you may not know. I know a lot of new lunar family didn't know this. I'm educating you. And I know this from being one of the Caribbean island indigenous. So we knew this. And I shared this. I was one of the first people online who talked about this. And there's documentations of it. You know, the fact that you didn't see it is because you're not in Europe. If you go to Italy, you go to Spain, you go to the UK, they actually have the images of the indigenous people that lived in the United States and all of the Northern Hemisphere. Okay, that's it. I don't want to make a whole video on it. I just wanted to share that. Sometimes truth can be stranger than fiction. And if you've been purposefully told that a people are this, and then you find out that there's something else, it could be shocking and you may resist it. But I promise you, I'm 1000% spot on, 1000%. 90% of the so-called African Americans were indigenous people from the Americas, South, Central, and North. It's 1000% true. And if you think I'm lying and you want to fact check me, go take a travel, because you're not going to get this online. Google's not going to tell you because it's all infiltrated by the government. Go take a trip over to Italy and Sicily and go to the museums and ask for images of what was seen by the pilgrims when they came. And then you're going to get a shock. And then you're going to hate your government for what they lied to you and what they made you treat other people who were indigenous and calling them something that they weren't. Okay? That's all. I don't want to get too deep into it because people are like, you're a liar. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Okay? That's all. Don't get mad at the messenger. You can find this out. It's very easy. Stop staying in the United States thinking that what you're going to say. You need to travel out of the country and see the truth. Because usually what happens in any country, it will only give you information that it allows you have access to. When you travel into other countries, you actually see the truth about your own country. Okay? A lot of Irish from the United States didn't know what happened to Irish until they left the country and saw from what the details and the archives were saying what happened to the Irish here and the Scottish. Okay? You don't find these things out from your country because remember, it is the victors who write the historical books. They write the details, the historical details of things. So you aren't going to ever hear the narrative from a true perspective. You'll hear it from a one-sided perspective. There's a reason why my pudgy nose is all over the place when I've gone to especially when my hair is really long, when I go to the Polynesian Islands, when I go to Hawaii, when I go to the Fiji Islands, I look like the native people because we're Carib. So we have very reminiscent of the island features of the people who look like they're the islanders, the native indigenous islanders. My hair texture is the same texture. My body shape is the same shape. We didn't mix so much. We didn't get raped in. Okay, so that's all. So when I share these things, please try to be less offensive. And if you're from any of these native tribes and you feel like you know something, if you knew the truth, you wouldn't fight this because you would know. Your elders would tell you. All the grandmothers know this. It's the younger ones who've been told lies and have believed in it. But it's the elders who all know. So if you have any of the elders from the Choctaw tribe, the Cherokee tribe, the Blackfoot, the Cree, they all know this truth. And you can ask them. Don't fight me because I'm telling you something that you've never heard before because someone told you that natives look a certain way and you didn't realize that shape-shifted based on what was being gentrification and other things that were, moving people out of certain areas and moving other people in. And also $5 Indians who weren't any nationality, who lightened up the complexion of the people and the tribes. Okay? Okay, so I'm just saying, okay, just let's get into the Russians. What's a Russian term, y'all? I gotta learn some Russian. So apparently, from my knowledge, United States has already sold off its country. So China owns part of the United States and so does Russia. That's my opinion. And Biden is some sort of AI system. I don't even know that holographic Satanist exists. He does, listen, I didn't say it. Someone showed a picture of him pooping on himself. I didn't show, it wasn't my fault. Somebody got mad because Biden was pooping on himself. Why are you mad at me because I showed an image of him pooping on himself? He pooped on himself. If someone poops on themselves, what's wrong? I mean, it is what it is. The man can barely talk. His family is all coked up. Okay, that's why Coke has probably been legalized. Okay, so why are you getting mad at me because you voted for a holographic entity is basically opening up the borders to every kind of entity, unvetted person coming in here. Okay, and if you have a problem with me telling you that this holographic president has basically sold off every aspect of the country, then take it up with your artificial government. Okay? That's why nobody goes in the White House anymore. When's the last time you saw your pooping president in the White House in the Oval Office? You tell me, when's the last time you seen him in the Oval Office? If I'm a liar, did you see Mr. Kamala in the Oval Office? Did you see Mr. Kamala? Okay? And you got to ask to yourself, why are all the candidates running from India? With the exception to Trump on the Republican side. You don't think that's odd? Kamala comes in, she says she's Asian, she's black one week, Asian one week, she's Jamaican, she's West Indian, okay? So why do you keep shape-shifting your nationality, okay? Whoever raised you is what your ethnicity is. If your mother raised you and she's from India, that's who you are, okay? So she came in saying she was Asian, she made all these Asian American protection, whatever the case is, okay. And she made all these amendments to transsexual people because that's what he is, okay? So she did all the things connected to who he or she is, okay? So now you've got one lady who says she's Indian and she said there's no such thing as racism, but she changed her whole name and then said she was a brown woman and she was harassed as a brown woman when she was a little girl. I just, the mental illness is so over the top. I'm concerned for the children. First she said there was no racism in the United States. Then she had a story time of her being the only brown girl. And first of all, I didn't know she was brown. I don't know. This is brown. Listen, this is copper and brown, y'all. This is brown. Okay? I don't know maybe I didn't take the uniform colors. Was there a Mandela effect about brown? Because Mandela effect, when is she brown? I'm no shade. I'm just saying, like, I thought this was brown. Is there something new that I don't know? Did this happen? Did brown change terms? Okay? Because this is black. This is brown. I'm more copper. I'm like a copper color. Okay? I'm just saying, she said she was a brown woman. There's no such thing as racism, but she said she was affected by racism as a child. And then she changed her whole name from an Indian name to a more lunar-esque name. Now, I'm sure when she goes in restaurants and everything, and back if she was living in the 60s, she would have been drinking from the white fountain, wouldn't she have? Okay? I don't know. She's a hopeful. Look, Camille says she's a psyop. I don't even know who she is. That's a suntan? At least. Listen, I told you I don't have a dog in this race. I'm just saying I didn't know that was brown. I didn't know brown changed terms. Does brown mean not brown anymore? I don't know. These people are running for a fake. Listen, there's no more United Fakes, y'all. The whole country is separated. There's no such thing. What is she running for? Okay? Anyway, I just thought that was interesting that you got this other guy called Vivek. Vivek, is his name Vivek? I'm sorry, I don't want to disrespect, because I have a very unique name too. Vivek? Is his name Vivek? Oh, Nikki Haley. Shada, your mom went to school with Nikki Haley. Was she brown in high school and she bleached herself? Did she do like the African bleaching system? I don't know. I just took offense. Like, I thought I was brown. I hate that they call brown people brown and us blacks, there's no such thing as colors, y'all. I mean, I know lunars that come like lighter pink, come like light color, then they come sometimes tan. I know brown people that come light brown, tan. I mean, they just make stuff up. I actually think we're ran by sociopaths and psychopaths. I don't know why we even follow the terminology that they give us, because it doesn't even make any sense. All of these people are mentally ill. I mean, if you listen to the curriculum, they taught you in school that when the sun was closer to you, that it was hotter. And but when you look at the seasons, when the sun is closer to the fakes, when the sun is closer to the earth, it is wintertime, when it's further away, it's summertime. What kind of mental illness? And then you teach children that. And then you teach children that the sun was yellow and knowing that the sun simulator is a whole white now. Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Oh, wait. Vivek gives me a game show. Host 5, feminine. Listen. I just don't know what's going on. You've got a pooping holographic president, Kazoo. I don't even know. He doesn't live in the White House. I don't know if he lives in a Mickey Mouse town, or does he live on Universal Studios? I don't know where he lives. You got a whole man vice president that is telling us that she's 1 week Asian, 1 week she's a brown woman. She disrespected the whole Jamaican kin by saying it's okay to smoke weed because she's Jamaican, which is so disrespectful, and I'm glad her father checked her. I just don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. So anyway, y'all, come to find out, like right now, I will say this. The Chinese are taking over. I know they have California. Now, what are these things? And I could be wrong about New York, but I think they have New York too. Chicago is, I don't know, Chicago's like up in the air. Chicago got a lot of things going on. I don't even know. Seattle's got a lot of issues. Now, what's the ultimate goal? Because, we share these things like that. First of all, I'm letting you know right now, it isn't going to be safe, okay? Whenever you have a coup, and whenever you have a coup and the entire country has been taken over by purposeful immigrants flooding into the country, that means that they plan to take over. And I tell you, boy, the NPCs take over whenever I say something that's gaslighting. Also, I heard this from our I can't tell you who told us that. One of our C-stars shared this with us. It's classified information. I love saying that. I don't know if it's classified. We shouldn't know it, but we know it because I talked to too many people. But I found out something. They were bringing people in to Chicago, and they brought them in, all these so-called immigrants, non-vetted, from all kinds of countries. We don't even know. They from spaceships too. I don't know where they're from. Okay, so they brought them in the country, and they had a room. Darn, I hate when I don't remember exactly. Hold on. She said that they had a room full of weapons of mass destruction. This is a lie. This isn't true. I'm making it up. This is a skit. Okay, this is just what I heard. Doesn't mean it's true. They had weapons of mass destruction. That was also to each person no, that wasn't it. Okay, I got that story. I just remembered it. It took me a while. Y'all known me for a long time on YouTube, so my memory is not as great as it used to be, but I will say this. So apparently this older woman had a beautiful penthouse in one of these suites, right? In one of these condo areas, right? Very wealthy, very elite looking European woman, right? She got DoorDash. That's where it was. She got DoorDash, right? Oh, no, DoorDash groceries. You know how you can get groceries from DoorDash? She ordered a whole bunch of groceries from DoorDash, a whole bunch. And the guy brought up the groceries. And she asked that he brought it into the room where, like a room. And when he walked into this apartment, I mean, this place was looking like the Shay of Shays. It looked like it was like a really beautiful place. So she asked him to put the groceries in this room, and in this room was full of groceries, like all these foods, like groceries all in the room. And then when he looked in the other room, there were all these weapons, like all these type of weapons. This is an illusion. This is a lie. This isn't true. This is a story time. This is a fake, okay? He looked in the other room and there was weapons all in the room. This was in Chicago, y'all. But the front was an older woman that no one would ever think would have these. So who does she have all those groceries for, y'all, in one of the rooms? Who does she have stockpiles of food for? And then who are those weapons going to be used for? This is a story time. This is a lie. This is a skit. Okay? Who is she feeding? And he didn't know because he didn't see anybody. He didn't see any men or anything like that. But interesting, it's kind of like when the drug dealers have a front person, like they always have an old person be in the front, because this was a European woman. And the fact that she's European, like Lunar, she's very, she looked clean, very old, very established, very very bougie, right? Why would she, don't allow them in my home? Yo, listen, why did she let him in the home? And she gave him a $50 tip. She gave everybody a $50 tip that was around, okay? So, you know, DoorDash is not, I don't know if DoorDash really care. And the only reason we heard the story is because our C-Star shared it, because it's her family member. I don't think this is something, because remember, who are they really going to tell? Who's going to really believe that? Who would really believe? Listen, y'all, I'm telling y'all, because you're not supposed to tell nobody, right? But I'm telling y'all like a secret. But who's really going to tell that to anybody? And somebody will believe them, okay? Because I'm telling y'all, and I'm telling you it's a lie, okay? So all I'm saying, y'all, is there's a lot of people here, and there's a lot of different things that are not being revealed to you. And I'm telling you right now, these motherfuckers aren't real. You better pony up. And I'm telling this to moms. Like, I saw a video, and you know, bigger to some of the men, especially in the South. I think men in the South do this a lot. But I really think you need to pay attention, y'all. If you have sons, if you have young boys or males in your family, you need to make them a little more healthy. You got to get them up to speed, and they have to be able to fight. And they need to be able to aim and hit spot on. I'm not telling you that it's a skit. I'm a psychopath. You know, I don't know any different. I'm making this up, okay? But I'm just saying, if you have young boys, especially right now, I'm just saying, and listen, this is in Chicago. That's one house that just we got wind of. How many other houses are harboring hostiles with weaponry that is being given to them? Who's giving them the weapons? And remember, there was a guy who showed us the video. I don't know, it was on IG. And he was showing us a video in New York, in Harlem. You know, somebody, big to all our New York, Harlem people. He was showing us these Africans like sitting on the corner. It was always like 5 or 6 of them. Always the same number. And all, you know, maybe because I just know I have a logical mind in certain ways. It's like, whenever you see a pattern of something, you need to pay attention to it. So when you see like on the corner, he showed like several corners of Africans just sitting there, like sitting on the corner with no directive, like just sitting there, and they were watching. And whenever you have foreigners doing that, they're scouting. They're scouting. They're surveying. Maybe looking at the pattern, like looking to see who walks at the same time every day, looking to see when people lock up their houses, where people park, how many times cops drive down the road. Like that to me is like they're surveying. Why are you having them on every corner just standing there? Who brought them here? What? And also, you know, I don't know if you even saw the video we saw the other day when this guy came from Iran, big to Iran in the house, y'all. I know that not all Iranians are terrible, just like I know not all Jews are terrible and not all Palestinians are terrible. I do know that the governments of each of those countries is doing some horrific things, and I don't agree with it. But like I said, my country is doing horrific things, and you know, I don't feel aligned with my country nor the holographic pooping president. Okay, so whenever I talk about people, I do separate people from their governments, because most of the people I know in those countries aren't aligned with the governments. Okay, so if I talk to somebody who's Jewish, who's a regular Jewish person living somewhere in Israel, I know that they're not personally hurting any Palestinians, and they're not doing those things, and I know they wouldn't agree with people being killed and harmed for no reason. Okay, if I talk to people in Iran and they're regular people, I know that they're just regular people, and they may not be in alliance with their government. It depends. Some people are more aligned with the governments, but the people I know them personally, they aren't aligned with the government. The government is doing something totally opposite than something they would do. Okay, but what I will say with this is that there was an Iranian man who came across the border. I don't know if it was Eagle Run. What's the border over there? Is that Texas or that's Arizona? Can someone tell me if that's Arizona? I think it's Eagle Run. Can someone verify if that's the name? Is it Eagle Run? One of you can verify, because it was Eagle. I think it's Eagle Run, if I'm not mistaken. Can someone verify that and just let me know? The guy came across with his family. And again, you got to ask yourself, if these are immigrants coming from poor situations, where they're coming from countries where the Eagle Pass, thank you, poppin'. Thank you. Eagle Pass. So you got to ask yourself, if people are coming from really terrible situations where they're coming from poverty, they're running away from their country and their governments, how come they all look so clean and healthy? Usually people who come into other people's countries are like the derelicts, so like the lower class people. How come the people coming in the country look real clean and elite? Well, this man said when one of the border people asked him a question, he said, "You don't know who I am." This is a guy from Iran. He said where he was from. He said, "You are about to find out who I am. You are about to find out very soon." Now, call me paranoid. I don't know. But when someone does a threat like that, and he looked clean, like he didn't look like some Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. He didn't look like some poor Iranian coming here looking like he couldn't rub two coins together to make $1. He looked pretty well put together, and his family looked healthy. Why would he come in and say the first thing he says when he's being challenged is like, "You don't know who I am, and you're about to find out who I am"? Listen, y'all. Let me put some lip gloss for you. I don't know. What do you think? You think I'm paranoid? I don't know. Do you, that's not a threat somebody who's humble coming into a country would do, right? Somebody humble be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to come in your country. I think it's beautiful." He didn't come in like that. He came in like, "Yo, bossed up." It's like, "You know who I am?" Like, I'm gonna take a sip for the haters. Let me take a sip. It's not Starbucks haters, so unfortunately I'm not poisoned, and I made it. So let me take a sip for the haters. I told y'all what I think. Unless you're willing to fight, you stay in. You don't even. There's no more United States, y'all. That's my opinion. The states has been broken up into different places. I think Texas already went. And defected from the union. I think that's why Governor Santos stepped down, because he's going to hold a higher position if he's still in Florida. I think Florida is also going to go independent. And probably they already did align with Texas. I think y'all gonna have to be ready. And I'm not talking about the kind of ready where you have to like, get like stockpiles and stuff like that. Because if you look at other countries where people are stockpiling, remember these men. I don't want to scare you, but these men want sex, and you got a whole bunch of military men in the country. And if you don't have, now I understand why they separated men from their families in this country with the divorce rate, making sure brown men weren't around to help protect their families. I understand why they did that, because it's very easy to overtake a population with women and children that aren't protected. I think unfortunately that's why they've been purposefully doing that. Most households with women are only with women in it, and children, young children. And brown men have left they're just creating more babies, and it's not just brown men, now it's lunar men too. But I'm just saying, y'all, men, let me talk to y'all. I know really that y'all feel a certain way. You think your wife, your ex-girlfriend, your baby's mama is an idiot or whatever she is. She got a big butt, maybe she don't shut up. I'm telling you right now, if you love your offspring, you need to put your ego aside. You need to be a real man and go protect your offspring and the children's mother. You need to bring them together and have the women talk to. If you got multiple babies' mothers, you need to have a meeting of minds, stop sleeping with all of them, and work on the same accord as one unit. And say, "Listen, I may have messed up. Maybe I did this." You need to get over. I don't care if you hate her. I don't care if she cursed you out on Sunday. If you want your offspring to be protected, y'all got to come together with your families right now. Men, you got to go back to your families. I've never told you to do that before. Because these men coming in, y'all, they're not weak. They haven't been eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, soy chicken for 15 years. They're not using microwaves, okay? They're not drinking chemicalized, fluorinated water that is breaking down their bones and making them mind controllable and passive. They're not watching Super Bowls every Sunday and watching men bend over with spandex and see the anal cavity of their butt with a big brown ball in between it saying hike, hike, hike. They're not doing that. Okay? I could be an idiot. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying, men, because men, you have the power. We need you. I'm letting you know right now. I don't care what I've said about you. I am very sorry. Let me apologize to all men. I am very sorry that we thought that we did not need you. I'm speaking on behalf of some women, because some women be like, you don't speak for me. I ain't speaking for you. I'm speaking on behalf of some women that need you. We need you. We need you like we ain't never need you before. And you got to put down the beer, the feminizing weed, and you need to go out with your homies and start doing pull-ups like you used to do. Go out and do sit-ups, pull-ups. We gonna work with you. We gonna have to lose weight. Yes, I'm gonna have to run with you. You gonna have to work me out. You know what I mean? You gonna have to put me, listen, you gonna have to say, okay, FleurBrun, no more of these huge, gigantic coffees. We gonna have to go do a run in the morning. I'm with you. So if you gonna put me on a regimen, I'm not gonna ask nothing of you that I'm not willing to do. We gonna have to train together. So I'm just saying, we need you. We do. And I'm letting you know, this is my suggestion. Every man who has a child with women, I don't care if it's multiple women, get those women together, get the children together, start training your little boys, because what's coming in, you don't have much time. And I'm probably too late giving you this message. If you don't plan to fight, then you need to leave the country before they lock down. And they won't be taking American passports. I'm letting you know. So if you're not planning to stand up and do for you and yours, you might have to leave. Women, you know I'm talking for us, because you know we hot to tati. I'm not speaking for all women, but you know, some of you little saucy ones like me, okay? We gonna have to listen to the directive of our husbands, our exes. We gonna have to work on the same accord. So put down your ego. She ain't cuter than you. Her cat is not as snatched as you. Stop it, okay? Stop. We need to get away from the ego and the emotions. This is, if you want to protect your children, our children, we gonna have to put that aside. Yeah, we gonna have to get up at 5 a.m. and run and get rid of all this extra, okay? We gonna have to be like G.I. Joan. G.I. Jane, remember G.I. Jane? We gonna have to run. We're gonna have to work out. We're gonna have to start eating properly, just start drinking more water. If you plan to stay, y'all, this is what's gonna have to be the regimen. If you want your children to be not in FEMA camps or smart cities, locked up and surveyed, this is what I'm suggesting. This video may be taken down for me even suggesting this. This is war. Your country's been taken over and you weren't even told about it. And a lot of you have young children who are vulnerable, and women who are weaved up with snuffle up. They can't even run because their eyelashes are gonna get in the way. And they got all kinds of bioweapons, diseases coming out in the neighborhood closest to you. So, I mean, if you can't run, if your eyelashes and your nail, you can't even wipe your butt because your nails are longer than your whole hand. Okay? Women, I'm just saying, if you have young children, we gonna get bowdy. We gonna, next time we see each other, we gonna look all we're gonna be all in shape. I'm with you. I'm not talking like I can't. We're gonna have to work out together. Before we were in comfort, but I'm just saying, if you got baby's daddies and he's being resistant, be a little sweeter to him and sit him down. I mean, this is, we have to, listen, sometimes you got to get out of your emotion, okay? They work so long online, breaking us apart by creating all these algorithms of women hating, especially brown women hating men and men hating women. We never hated each other. Listen, I was in school. I love men. I love y'all. Y'all, listen, you teach me stuff. Every time I'm around a man, I learn something different. The way that you think is something that I so admire. I really appreciate you. I need you to stop eating soy and let's get it together. I can't do pull-ups now. Maybe you got to train me. We gonna have to work out, y'all. We're gonna have to work together. And you're gonna have to call that baby's daddy and sit him down and say, hey, I need you. I need you like I've never needed you before, and we need to work on one accord as a family. And if you got a tribe around you of a whole bunch of men, men, if you got multiple women with children, you need to pull them all together and tell them. And instead of thinking with your wand, stop sleeping with all of them and just say, I want to protect my family. And just start working together so that you train your children and yourselves to survive this, because this is a war. And the entire country has been taken over and it's all underneath your nose. And it wasn't just by aliens, which you see as aliens like on spaceships. No, these are countries that literally have taken over and you weren't given the notice. Okay, that's just my advice. You don't have to do it. You could just be mad. You could watch Super Bowls. You could be looking at brown balls and spandex all day and acting like those teams have anything to do with you. Those men aren't you. Those men, after they play them balls, they got them underground bunkers. They're not you. You sitting there worship their balls and their butts and them spandex, and meanwhile their families are protected, but yours isn't. Why don't you stop putting focus on other people's families and put focus on yours? And men, we need you. I don't care what women tell you. We need you. We need you strong. We need you alert. We need you sober. We need you ready to fight, and we with you. I'm telling you. I'm speaking for a lot of women I know. Like, women aren't as dastardly you think. We just really need more focus. And if you bring all the children together and the mothers together, I'm telling you, for the safety of their children, they will work accord. But we all got to get in shape too. Like, if we can't run up a flight, listen, if we can't run up a flight of stairs, we can't run from nothing. All right? Your aim has to be spot on. Your wits have to be together, and you can't. That's why they legalize marijuana. That's why they legalize all that, those distilleries. And they got you eating and drinking liquor, wine, and spirits. They want you weak. What's coming over those borders isn't weak, y'all. You know that, right? What's coming over those borders is much stronger and has much more efficiency than every man, woman, and child in our country right now. And that has to do with the purposeful de-evolutionary social engineer programmings that they've been doing for 50 years. Throw out your microwaves. Throw out your chicken and mass destruction. Unless you raise your own chickens and you aren't feeding them soy and soy eggs, throw them suckers out. Start raising everything. Teach those babies how to grow things in case something happens to you. Make sure they can protect themselves. And daddies, you need to get the family on accord. Men, you are commanders. That's what y'all do. And I don't care what women say to you. I don't care you feel like she's in her ego because you haven't really been very masculine lately. Okay? Are you hunting? Can you hunt your own food? Can you basically, be like, remember Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator? No, it wasn't Terminator. It was, what was the one where we was hiding underneath the, what was it? Was it no, it was, what was that movie? Remember he was hiding underneath, he had camouflage, and he was underneath the mud. That was a good scene too. Remember he was hiding underneath the mud and like they were coming for him and they couldn't even see him. What movie was that? Rambo. Was it? Oh, that was Rambo. That was Predator too. Predator was like that, and Rambo did the same thing. Y'all, we need to remember the Viet Cong. Big up to Vietnam. Remember the Viet Cong? The Viet Cong, y'all. Yo, when America went into the Viet Cong were doing things like that. They were hiding up in the jungle. The Americans didn't know what to do. Okay? If you know your terrain, if you from South Carolina, you need to know every backwoods. You need to know every road. You need to everything. Because the advantage of you being here, and this is what I'm saying, I might have to take this video down. The advantage of you being here, y'all, I'm going to be your commander and non-chief. Because I'm not chiefing anybody. But you, listen, let me explain something. The advantage is that you know your back roads. You know the underground places. You know where you used to play when you were a child. You know those little ditches and where nobody else knows. These new people don't know nothing about our terrain. That's why them Africans are standing on the corner watching everything. Okay? For my New York brethren, you know the subways, you know the inside, you know the back doors and over by the bus station over in Grand Central. You know where the subway doesn't work anymore, but you know where the back doors are. You know where the park openings are on the west side, over in the park over in 72nd Street. You know all that. They don't know this, y'all. So the advantage, if you are prepared physically and mentally, is that the terrain means everything. They don't know where you live. They haven't been able to do that. We don't know how long these sleeper cells have been here, but they haven't been here long enough. We all grew up in the United States. So we know the insights and outs of places. I'm here with y'all. I'm going to be working out with y'all, okay? I can commit to being a healthier person because, listen, I'm going to make sure I could at least dash. One thing with me is that I have a lot of worked out for, God knows, 12 years, 5 days a week. We all got to get back in shape. Okay, because it doesn't matter how long, because you know, this guy said one thing that was really interesting. I don't know where I heard it. Could have been one of these videos. He said, you're not gonna do well if you're wearing open-toed shoes. You know, it's weird because he said that, and I was like, what does that matter? He said, because if there's an earthquake, anything, open-toe shoes is where you gonna lose. You can't run, you can't do nothing. If something fall on your feet, if you get shot in your foot. If you got closed-toe shoes, you have a higher capacity for survival. It was weird because, you know, as a woman's mind, right? You just don't think that way. And then when he said it, I'm like, yo, you know how many times I was in the subway? Big up to all my New Yorkers. I can't do this anymore, but I need to learn how to do it. When we were New Yorkers, big up to my New Yorkers. When I was in college, even high school, even after that, I used to run up 2 flights, like 2 stairs at a time to catch the subway. My New Yorkers know this. So when the subway was coming, many of you know in New York, you would hear the subway coming or you see it coming and you knew you want to make the train because the next train may not come in a long time. So I remember as a young girl, even in college, I used to double the stairs, like jump the stairs like 3 at a time and go to the turnstile. Sometimes, you know, go through quickly if my MTA card was open or not, or just jump it. I would make that train. And you got to think to yourself, like, wow, that's, I didn't think about that, but that's like really like when I'm pressed against the wall, I was able to bounce. Even when my children were really young, I remember taking at least 2 steps, like especially if I took them to the city, I would still take it. I'd be, you know, breathing hard. It's different because, you know, when you're younger, you do that like nothing. But I remember breathing hard, but I could still do it. Could I do that now? Absolutely not. But I have a lot of stamina. So the key is that I'm giving advice here, and maybe I'm not the one to give it to you, but I'm just letting you know from what I've seen and what I've heard is, if you're going to stay in the country, you're going to have to get in shape. All of us would have to get in shape. I'm not talking from the pulpit. I'm talking from the audience. You know what I mean? I need to be the type of woman that can run up 2 flights of steps with babies. You know what I mean? Like with the children and everything. I have to be able to do that. And what's in the country right now, you're going to have to be able to do that. And I'm talking to the women now. I know I'm not in a position to give you any advice. I'm somebody on YouTube. You don't know me from Adam or Eve, but I do know some things, and I'm seeing some things beyond what some of you have access to see, and it isn't good. And instead of us being in our emotions as women, and I know that you all listen to Cynthia G and what's the other guy, Kevin Samuels, please put those people out your back, put them out your head. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people are going to be killed because these sleeper cells are all in the country. It doesn't matter that you had a problem with your baby's daddy. You don't like the girlfriend he's sleeping with. You just need to listen. For children, you'd be like, yo, chick, I may have not liked you in the past, but we got children together. We got the same children's father. We got children. We need them to live. I'm with you. Okay, we gonna work on one accord. I don't like what's going on. I'm gonna put it aside. It's not about his penis anymore. It's about me and you. And we gonna work with these children. Okay, sometimes we just gonna have to be the change we want to see in the world. Okay, and you know, if baby daddy can't get it, then you step up and do it for the family. Okay, take it for the team. Sometimes we have to do this. I think all of this mind control programming, separating us, making us compete with other women, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Okay? What is it done for us? What have you competing with other women done for you? What are you talking about the way that she wears her clothing? If she has a BBL, she may not even make it anyway. What do you care about it? But get together. Get together. Tell her to take the snuffleupagus, help her take the snuffleupagus eyelashes out. Okay? Be a real sister. Pull those suckers off for her. Help her out. Put some castor oil on those suckers so they start growing again. You gonna have to be a unit. Teach the babies, teach your males how to protect themselves. your little children. And also you got to start teaching your children how to hide, being evasive, being quiet. Moms with little people, I'm talking to the choir here, when you have little babies and so on, and they like two, got one going on two, you got to teach them, start training them to be quiet. If somebody, an enemy's coming around, tell them how to be quiet. Start training them to lie down, play hide and seek. Be really quiet. Teach them how to do that. Teach them how to be quiet when they don't know people. These are the things we used to know, but you know, we kind of got lost in the sauce. Anyway, y'all, I hope I didn't go all over the place. Nobody's a victim. I shared this video because when I noticed that the Russians were here, I know the Chinese are here, but the Russians are here, and you have all these males, and when that guy from Iran said, "You're gonna find out who I am in a minute," I believe him. I believe him. And I just think that, you know, and for Lunars, let me talk to my Lunar people. They gunning for y'all. They're not really scared of brown people like that. In the hood, maybe, but, you know, too much is going on in the hood where people could be paid off easily. But Lunar families, y'all got to be on the court because they coming for those areas first, because the Patriots are coming from Lunar families. The Patriots are the ones who have been stockpiling since their grandfathers were in World War I. And they're also setting up like fake groups. This group that's walking around New York City, they call themselves the Patriots. That's a Black Lives Matter group. That's just a Lunar one. You see how they play the polarities? So first they have Black Lives Matter walking around. Now they got this neo-Nazi group walking around calling themselves the Patriots, walking around on the subways and so on. That's another psyop, okay? Be careful with that. Don't align yourself with that. Take care of your families. And if you live in a neighborhood where your neighbors are mad cool, have the conversation. You know, sit down together and have a neighborhood conversation, like, because you guys live around each other. You know, if you live in a building and you know you got grandmothers and stuff that rely on getting groceries every day, and you know that you're a strong male, maybe get some of the other men in the building and say, yo, we gotta get prepared. A movie I tell you to watch, and I know it's scary. If you get a little scared, you should watch Purge Election Year, okay? And then watch Purge The Forever Purge. Those are two very pinnacle predictive programming type of shows. When you look at those, you're gonna get an idea of how the focus of this hologram, where this simulation is going. And I mean, if you're gonna go out, I'm a Sag, so you know how we think. If I'm going out, it's blazing, and I'm gonna make sure everything I love is safe. Okay. So I hope this was helpful, y'all. You know, it's not meant to put fear in you. I don't even know if because YouTube always gets on me for something. But I always tell them I'm doing a comedic, this is a lie, I'm mentally ill. You know, I'm stupid, dumb, what else would they call me? Whatever. This is fake, this is a skit. You know what I mean? I got to say that. I gotta put that out there because then they'll say, oh, this is misinformation, or you're getting people all hyped up. No, because I'm mentally ill. And who wouldn't be living in a country that would set its own people up? Okay? So I hope this was helpful, y'all. And maybe my words will be helpful for you to kind of build commune together. And as a woman, you know, I think don't let anybody else control your mind and what you do with your family. If you love your family and your children and you want the best for them, you're gonna start making and addressing things that need to be addressed in case something like this, and it's not in case, it's happening. You're gonna take care of that. And like I said, put egos aside. All this fight club with women, they do that purposefully because they know women run community. Like when we're together, it don't matter what the men are doing. Men will be in accord with us. When we're healthy, men run in accord with us. That's what they do. They protect and serve. So it's like we gotta get it together. And we have to get our minds and get out of our emotions because we're very emotional. And especially when we're taking in all this, you know, lower frequency television and music, lower vibration, and we're eating foods from microwaves, we aren't getting enough nutrition. Put a little sea salt underneath your tongue and start becoming more rational. And stop using microwaves, for God's sake. Okay? And for women, if you have boys, please refrain from giving them plastic bottles and chicken and chips and cookies with all kinds of soy in it, soy lecithin. What happens to the big mamas that used to make their own cookies and crackers and stuff? Like, Remember we used to make crackers and stuff? Like, what happens to the big mamas that used to make things from scratch in the house? Like, there's nothing wrong with you making cookies in the house for your sons. Actually, it's much more affordable if you get a nice big bag of bromated flour that's organic, coming from an heirloom like spelt flour or teff flour, and you make the cookies yourself. I mean, start doing stuff like that. I know our young sea stars, you think, it's wonderful to just look and do 50 million tutorials and IG pictures, but you're not going to be able to take pictures when you locked up in a FEMA camp in a smart city and you don't have access to anything and you can't pee or poop unless the government lets you. I mean, you won't look all that cute then. So if that's something that you desire and you really enjoy doing, then you're going to have to fight for your freedom. Okay? Because there's not going to be any makeup tutorials where you going if you sit here idly and allow yourself and your children to be taken over because you didn't heed the warning. Okay, so it is what it is. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go chill out, just take what I say, always vet out what I share. If you might find other things, but it's looking a little shady out here, y'all. And you might want to learn a little. I told you to learn some Chinese, but you're going to have to learn some Russian too. And if you're living in the state of Texas, y'all gonna be fighting in a minute, because it looks like they're going to try to attack Texas, because you've got the country separated in all these different sectors. And it's all set up. It's all before the pole shift, y'all. This is all for the pole shift, right? And what's happening in the Middle East is a setup. It's meant to distract you. That's what I found out. What's happening in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine. And let me say this, y'all. I in absolutely zero way support any children or innocent people being killed in Palestine. Absolutely. Just like I didn't support any children and people being kidnapped and hurt in Israel. Okay, what's happening over there is just pure genocide. It's absolutely disgusting. It is, and it's a shame, because our focus is lent over there. It's purposefully over there, but really in itself, it's meant for you to focus in that arena. Meanwhile, your whole country's being taken over. While you're protecting one side over here, because all of the taxpayer money, all of your taxes, everybody, U.S. taxes, all of your taxes are going to protecting other people's borders when our borders are wide open. Can you not hear me? No? Oh, and Congo. Can you hear me? You can hear? And the Congo, what's happened in the Congo is absolutely horrific. And I'm just telling you, y'all, these are the end of days. These are what, some of the Torah, the Talmud, the Quran, the Bible, all these religious books talk about these days. It's the end of the days. It's all pre-programmed, okay? We're in the pole shift time, y'all. I talked about it for years. The whole planet is shaken up. You got the plates of the planet are moving and shifting. You got earthquakes happening in places all over, floods happening, like spontaneous floods happening all over the place. It's all to distract you. That's what I'm saying. Get good with your family. Get over your ego. Women, stop blaming each other. Get the men on accord. Listen, men will be more helpful if you just stop feeding them chicken all the time. Okay? Stop giving them chicken to mass destruction, and you're gonna see the men stand up. Because and stop having them smoke that feminine marijuana, because that also feminizes men too. Men who smoke a lot of marijuana makes them feminine. Okay, and women, what we have to do is stop eating so much and using microwaves. And what else do women do? Stop putting makeup with graphene in it. A lot of your makeup and your shampoos have graphene in it and all these chemicals in it. Okay. Clone Tyrone was a movie that told you they got it in the chicken, the music, and the freaking hair stuff. Okay. And if you keep braiding your hair with synthetic hair, it blocks your signals, because you're binding plastic to your real electric hair. Okay? So I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna put stuff in your hair, cover it with something organic. But if you keep putting synthetic stuff on your hair, you're blocking your signal and you're making yourself sick. Like if it's not the food, it's the chemicals. We got to be careful with that. You know, I hope you're not using pads with chemicals and formaldehyde in it, women. You know, you shouldn't be using stay free and what are the other ones? What's the other pads that they have women using? Stay free. What's the other one? Kotex. Do they have Kotex anymore? I don't know what it is. Kotex and all that stuff. Yeah. You got to chill out with that stuff. Yeah. I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, my dogs are so loud. Yeah. Hair matters. Just cover your hair. Just keep it on organic. Everything organic, y'all. It's gonna be interesting, y'all. And I don't want to even talk about Ebola. Okay? Ebola. We talked about it already. All right. So just, you know, big up to the zombies. We had a whole discussion on the Ebola. I don't want to even bring it up because they're not gonna let Patusha. They're not gonna let this video stay up if I talk about that. I'm just saying be mindful. Okay? Kotex, that's the other one. Kotex is the best. Kotex is the best. What? I hope you're not using Kotex. You aren't using anything that is being engineered. It should be organic and it should be organic cotton or another fiber. I hope you're not using Kotex or tampons. Because you know the easiest way to get at a woman's womb is putting a tampon. All you got to do is put all the chemicals and the formaldehydes on the tampon. So you basically are instituting your own poison. I hope you're not putting tampons in, ladies, please. Is this like the archaic? Are women still using tampons? Maybe I'm out of it. Maybe I'm still out of it. Are they still using tampons? Women, do you still use tampons? Maybe I'm wrong. Is that still happening? Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm a little out of touch. Okay, I don't know if they still use tampons. Yeah, just remember, anything that they want to put inside of your body, say no. The biggest way that you can protect yourself is to disallow the government from trying to get inside of your bodies. And let me put this message out here too. I don't know. I don't know if they. What's coming over the border also, y'all? I don't know if anybody's in Venezuela and Haiti. Tell the girls to stop coming to this part of the world. They're not making it. I don't want to put fear in. It's hard because they're not making it here. And I heard this directly, so it is happening. That's why you're not seeing, back in the days you would see brown women come over the borders. You're not seeing them because they're kidnapping them. They're using them and harvesting for organs. Please, if you know people in Venezuela, in any African country, and in Haiti, because I think those are the places, and Cuba, if they have darker skin, they're being kidnapped before they even make it to the border and used for sex trafficking and also for their organs. They're taking out their organs. Please tell them to stop coming here. It's not being talked about, but it's what's happening. And you're not seeing brown women coming over the border anymore like you used to because they're getting them for money. And I travel out of the country. And one thing I say is if you're traveling out of the country as brown women, be careful because our bodies are being used on the black market more than anybody else's. I showed you the video of the men saying that they want the women's eggs. They're using it for harvesting. So if you know of any women or if you see them by borders, anybody's by border towns and you see young brown girls, please just pay attention. Or I'm not saying let them stranger aid, but tell them if you speak the tongue, if you speak Haitian, which Creole, if you speak Spanish, please let them know. I'm sorry I have to share this with you because nobody will talk about it because nobody cares about brown women. Not like that. Brown women are the most unprotected women on the planet, and that's why they get trafficked the most, and no woman talks about them. You'll have channels full of women from other countries and they'll never speak well of brown women that are being kidnapped. It's known too. It's known. And I would hope that if you're a woman of any nationality that you would speak up on this, and you could fact check me. But the fact that you talk about women's rights and you never speak about brown women being kidnapped and harvested constantly, it already lets me know that you're complicit in that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you have to like, I could talk about Ireland and never be from Ireland. I can speak on well from our people in Australia and never be from Australia. I can speak on our people in Palestine or Israel and never be from Israel and speak on righteousness. How come you're not speaking up against that? How come you never spoke about what's happening in the Congo? How come you're not talking about what happened in Somalia or Ethiopia? It makes me think that you just don't care. And that you're okay, but then you got to realize that you pull, when you're apathetic towards other people getting hurt because of the way they look or they're more genetically harvestatable, then you got to wonder why certain things are coming to United Fakes, because when you don't care about other people, then it happens to you. Then it happens to you and yours. And I talked about this years ago. I said the reason why we're experiencing what we are in the United States is because we allowed what happened in Europe and didn't care. So lunar channels of women, if you say that you love women and you speak on women, I wonder why you're not speaking on women of color being harvested, or why their babies are being aborted at a higher rate, and why Planned Parenthood is in every hood. That's forms of eugenics. Like how do you ignore that? Is it purposeful ignoring? Are you blind-eyed because you think there's too many brown people and there's too many of us anyway and you don't like us? That's what it makes me think, because I don't have to be lunar to care what happens to your children. I don't have to be lunar or blonde hair and blue-eyed to care if something happens bad to your family. There's a consequence for being apathetic and thinking it's okay. Just like the Palestinian children. It isn't okay that because Palestinian children are brown or Arabs, that people think it's okay to devastate and kill them all off just because they're in the way of some so-called enemy. That's wrong. I wouldn't ever condone a child being killed because they're just in the way of me getting to one enemy. You don't kill 5,000 people for one person you're trying to find. That's a form of genocide. Okay, I have to add that because I just think it's terrible that I'm the only person online who speaks about the fact that Haitian women and Venezuelan women who are darker skinned are disappearing and being they're being raped, taken off of these paths while they're coming into the borders, and they're being taken to be harvested for organs and raped for babies to be eaten or to be used for makeup and cosmetics that a lot of you spend a lot of money for in Saks and Fifth Avenue and Bloomingdale's. Okay? Nobody else will talk about that. But believe me, what you will let for another group of people happen, it always comes to you. That's why we're experiencing what we're experiencing in the United States, because of our complicity and our apathy for other nations. We let those people kill Iraqi women and children. We let people go into Africa and Haiti and kill those people off. And we don't, and we live here eating our Cocoa Puffs and sitting idly while other people are being killed and hurt. And that doesn't bother you until it touches yours. Well, guess what, y'all? Now it's touching the United States, and I blame anyone who didn't ever speak in defense of women all over. A brown woman matters just as anybody else. And the fact that it's not spoken on any of these channels as if that's okay and everybody's complicit in brown women being killed and murdered, that makes me know who you really are. All lives matter. And the fact of the matter is, the number one and the most harvested and kidnapped and raped are brown women. Go figure that. Okay? I watched a woman fall off a roof in Israel because she was an Arab maid. What was she, an Arab maid? Or she was an Arab maid. She was like African looking. And the woman, instead of helping her, she was scared of the person she was working for, and I think this was in Tel Aviv, and the woman filmed it and watched this woman fall to her death because she didn't want to touch her because she's brown. I mean, it's crazy. Why does complexion matter so much? Like, do you really hate people because they got darker color? Like, god darn, I don't see animals act that way. I've never seen a black wolf fare off a white wolf, or black cats do that. It's crazy. That's like some sort of crazy social engineering. I'm seeing it more and more because maybe we're exposed, but my God. Yo, you bring that to your family. When you let a group of people die like that, you invite that to you. I've always noticed that. My father taught me that. When you sit idly and you watch another people suffer, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be like the Irish. When Dublin was dealing with, when Dublin and Shannon were fighting in Ireland, and nobody really talked about it. Those are the same complexions. When you sit and watch things like that and it doesn't bother you, there's gonna be a consequence, because we're living in a hologram. We're living in a simulation. It's like it's like part of the programming. If you lack empathy and sympathy, it will invite itself to you. It's a shame. Anyway, y'all, I'm out of here. I gotta talk to a C-star. Just be aware. And again, I could be mentally ill. This is a skit. This is a comedy skit. And you don't have to listen to anything I say. I always say, fact check me. Fact check me. Go look into what you think I'm sharing with you, and always verify it. I could be sharing all kinds of lies and misnomers and just things that aren't relative. Always fact check me. I just stop being lazy and be proactive. And if what I share with you is valid and has some form of credence in your life, then by all means, because of the times we're in and we're close to the pole shift, start working on creating a family system that you can protect your family. And if you're not down to fight, then you need to bounce. Fight or bounce. That's it. But you're not going to be able to leave soon. So I give you that advice. All right. So y'all, I got to go. I'm going to go and enjoy myself, my day. I'll see you guys on Zoom. What's today? Wednesday. I'll see you guys on Zoom tomorrow night. Thursday night, and we'll kind of go on to the Russian ship I saw, and I'll probably have more information then to why I know the Russians are in the States using cloaked ships that are invisible, that I thought were alien ships, and they're not. Okay, so big up to all our family abroad who's dealing with some really dissension. I wish all families of children, especially mothers and children anywhere that are being harmed or hurt, I see you. Let me say this. I see you. I see you in the Congo. I see you in Somalia. I see you in Ethiopia. I see you in Haiti. I see you in Venezuela. I see you in Palestine. I see you in Israel. I see you. I won't ignore you. I won't ignore the things that are happening to you. And I have empathy and sympathy for all of your family and children. Okay? So I'm going, y'all. Jamoji, thank you. Jamoji put the link if you want to join us on Thursday nights. And we'll probably talk about the Ebola and the Russians on Thursday. So we'll talk about that then. All right. So y'all, I hope it was helpful. Hopefully they'll keep this video up. We'll know. If not, you know why. Okay. So, Green Eye Crow says she's going to defend herself on her own. Go ahead, Green Eye. Do you? You listen, when you don't need anything. You can do things on your own, but I'm just saying, if you have a system around you where there's males, pull everybody together. What's wrong with us being a tribe again, or creating tribes and system? That's the way all of our people came from. They came from tribes and clans. Like, why shouldn't we pull them back together? Like, I see this woman, she travels through Africa. I love her vlog. Her name is Itchy Boots. She's from Norway, and she's traveling through Africa on her bicycle, her motorbike. And I tell you, she makes me so proud to be a woman. And also, it also makes me so happy to see how beautiful Africans treat people, and how wonderful Africa tribal systems still are there. Like how you still have systems where people have tribes and they're happy and they're healthy. It's beautiful to see that. So thank you to, if you don't watch Itchy Boots, I like her. Itchy Boots, she's from Norway. She is a spitfire, boy. She reminds me of a Sag. So I watch her. You watch her too? I love watching her. She is so brave. Oh my gosh. I admire her. I really do. And she also shows the best of Africa. She's been through all these African countries. She's in Central right now. And she really, the way that they demonize Africa and they make it seem like Africans are the most savage people, everybody who's helped her along the way, given her home, given her food, giving her lodge, helped her out. That's how beautiful Africa is. And they don't ever show that. They kind of demonize it. So it's nice for her to see it from a woman's perspective, especially traveling by herself. So I love watching it. If you don't get a chance, I don't know her. I just love watching her blog, So You know, tribe up. Yeah. Like Sekem said, tribe up. All right, y'all. So I'm out. I'm gonna go and enjoy my day. You do the same. We're gonna work it out. What? Maybe get up 5. Remember working out at 5 a.m. It's actually, you know, when you work it at 5 a.m., it's like the best time. I think, you know, I'm gonna get in shape, y'all. We all gotta get in shape. I'm not gonna talk to you and tell you to do something that I'm not willing to do. So, you know, I want to be able to run up flights of stairs like I did, like in my youth, like 2, maybe not 2 at a time, but at least really fast. All right, y'all. So I'm out. All right. Speak to you later. Peace.